Dr. Reid-Wallace, the president of Fisk University, and the topic is Fisk University at the 21st century. Dr. Reid-Wallace, we want to give you an opportunity during the second segment to not only reflect upon your years at Fisk University, but to talk about some of the things that are institutions at Fisk University, the Jubilee Singers, and some of the other things that were part of your experiences as well.
Well, that's a wonderful way to give me an opportunity to say, when I was a freshman, I tried out for the Jubilee Singers, thinking that I had a singing voice, which dear Professor Matthew Kennedy, who used to direct the Jubilee Singers, as nice a man as I've ever met, he said, "Thank you, dear, for coming. Don't call me, I'll call you." And needless to say, I didn't become a Jubilee singer. I tease Professor Kennedy every time I see him about that, but I also praise him for having had the good sense to know that I could not have brought any glory to that group. But that is an extraordinary group. And I'll tell you, Dr. Haney, they just put out a new CD called In Bright Mansions. It is on sale across Nashville. It is one of the finest, and I'm not saying it because I'm the president of Fisk or because I'm a Fisk graduate. I'm saying it because anyone who listens to that CD will be moved by the power of those voices and the stories that they tell. I just came back from San Antonio, Texas, with the Jubilee Singers. They sang at a place called the Charlene McComb Imperial Theater, and when they finished, people jumped to their feet, and they were hollering, "Bravo, bravo!" They are magnificent. This CD was put out by Curb Records right here in Nashville, Tennessee. We just had a celebration, Curb Records, Belmont University, and Fisk University, honoring the Jubilee Singers. They have brought great glory to us, and it's not just the present group, going all the way back to the first group that went on tour in 1871, a few years after the school started. We have many institutions at Fisk, and another one that I think is very often underestimated is the leadership capacity of the school. Fisk uses its curricula and its faculty to teach students not only academic content, but to give them the power to see themselves as leaders. When a man like John Lewis, who not only went out and marched, but who found himself to be a really good student too, was able to combine the academic and the sense of a responsibility to bring a different society to America. It didn't just happen. It happened because he had something inborn, but because people around him nurtured and encouraged that. And I think the leadership capacity that finds its way into the curricula from the professors is an institutional quality that we don't often think about. Fisk's art collection is one of the finest art collections of any university in the United States. And I'm not exaggerating. There are very few people who can say that they have 19 original photographs by Alfred Stieglitz, who have Monets and Renoirs and Cézannes and Aaron Douglases and David Driscolls and Oswald Tanners, all in the same institution. We have Georgia O'Keeffe's, we have Marin's, we have just a rich variety of 18th century, 19th century, and 20th century artistic works from Europe, Africa, and the United States. That is an institution. The Aaron Douglas collection, which is housed in the John Hope and Elizabeth Franklin Library, is a magnificent collection featuring many of Mr. Douglas's works, who incidentally was one of my teachers. Aaron Douglas taught me my art history. And so art is a great institution at Fisk. Our buildings, the historic buildings. Do you realize that Jubilee Hall is the first permanent building ever built on a historically black college or university campus. And that building came about because the Jubilee Singers went on tour, first in the United States and subsequently to Europe, ending up in England. And Queen Victoria heard them sing, and she was so moved until she summoned her court artist and had him paint this magnificent portrait of the Jubilee Singers that now hangs in the Appleton Room of Jubilee Hall. That architectural structure can't even be replicated now. Cravath Hall, which is where the old library used to be, is a magnificent neo-Gothic building. And thanks to the largesse of a very wonderful human being, we were given $4 million to restore Cravath and another $4 million to restore Jubilee Hall. And we are in the process of restoring Cravath at this moment. But my real point in mentioning the buildings is they too are institutional treasures. And they speak to a history that is rich and that I believe can't be replicated. But we can appreciate it, we can cultivate the history, we can protect it, preserve it, and pass it down from generation to generation.
Well, I think some of these buildings are, during this minute before we have our commercial break, some of these buildings are on the National Register of History.
That's right, the historic, that's right, and they are, we're, I believe, one of the few institutions that can honestly say that most of our buildings are on that registry. Yes.
Very good. And of course, Dr. Reid-Wallace, we're getting ready for our second commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk about something that I'm sure that is of some real interest not only to you, but to practically every college president, and that is bringing more resources into the institution.
Oh, what a fine man you are. Yes, indeed.
But I do believe that's a very, very important consideration, especially an institution like your institution, a private institution, an African-American institution that really does not get all of the endowments and all of the things that more favored institutions get. And I know it has to be a struggle.
It is a real struggle.
Of course, we're going to give you an opportunity when we come back over these next few minutes to talk about some of your financial efforts.
Thank you.
And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Talking to the president of